few different things today. Not necessarily takedowns as much. Just kind of what we can do if we, either if we're pulling guard or if we sit guard, like a seated position. Turn this way. So, say I sit, right? You can stand, right? So I could be in this scenario here, right? I can hook, come up in here for like my shin on shin, right? Depending on what he does with his leg, right? If he comes in, right? I start to block as I try to, trip him, right? I can switch, get my head in here, and I'm gonna switch my feet. Here, come up, okay? And try to take him down. Should result in him bouncing on his foot. So, say I'm in here, right? Maybe he backsteps his leg, right? Here, stand up. Okay. So I end up in a single, okay? It could be here, here, whichever way we're taking him down, okay? Start, we'll do a few different things today, but we'll start like I'm gonna get into shin on shin. So if I'm seated, I'm gonna shade him to one side, right? I'm looking for my hook, try not to give him the grips that he wants, and I'm gonna shoot in here, okay? As he tries to retract his leg or move, right? I move here, okay? And then we just do our finish. So get my shin on shin hook, ear on the side, right? He moves that off, move my foot, I circle my left foot out, bring my right leg in, okay? Use it to kind of pick his heel up and then end up in a single.
And are you just waiting for him to, your timing is back?
I'm either gonna
shift,
push to adjust his base, or he back steps or what have you, right? Clearly, if he comes in, now I just go single leg X. Okay? Does that make sense? So if he comes in with that foot, I start setting that up. Okay, so I'm gonna try to off balance him by pushing at his shin or his knee, either one to get his hips to come back or him to back step. And then from there I switch my feet. I want to, in this case, I'm going to pull my right heel under my butt like technical stand up. Use it to pick his heel off the mat and then stand up, head into his ribs. Does that make sense? All right, start with that. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to talk about a couple things that we saw and why we would do it different, okay? And then we'll get into what we're doing next. So if I get this hook and I have my foot on the other side here, it's gonna be hard to switch all this and retract, okay? If I come in here, like this type of position, right? This can become easy, okay? Does that make sense? So where I put my right leg in that scenario might dictate how I'm gonna stand up, okay? Say, I get here and my foot's on the outside, right? And I get in here, right? If his foot's up here where I can reach it, come up a little bit, right? I go to block like here, I circle, right? So I retract the foot, into it, okay? Does that make sense? So I don't have to switch my feet. If you play that shin on shin position with your foot on the outside like that, that's not necessarily wrong, it's just different. Honestly, I probably play it that way more than I play it the other way. Either one is fine. You're just gonna use your legs in a little bit different way, right? If my foot's already on the outside of his, I don't wanna try to move all that around. Does that make sense?
Could you talk a little bit about, we were talking just a minute ago about the angle of your knee?
Yes, and that's gonna bleed into what we're doing next. So, turn this way. So when I do this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna shade him to this side and I'm looking to make my grip come in. I'm gonna open my knee out as much as I can comfortably do it. I don't wanna be here. Number one, it's easy for him to come around me, okay? Versus here, right? If my knee's up, you see the difference? I don't want him slipping off of that, Number one. Number two, I'm gonna go to single leg X if he doesn't go away from me. If he comes in, I'm gonna get a hold of that ankle or the pants. Since we're in the gi, I'm gonna go underhand on the pants, okay?
Will you show that real fast? I know.
Yeah, we're gonna do it here. So.
Oh, okay.
So the reason I want this knee out is when I get here, if that leg comes up, I go under, you don't have to be that far, just anywhere I can reach it. I go underhand on the pants, that way he can't break it. I'm gonna show this on both sides. Ear on the side of his thigh. This knee is gonna be open because the process of me putting my shoulder to the floor is gonna lift this leg up. I don't need it to be here, I just showed, I don't want this to slip off. Here, I'm grabbing, now I fall to my shoulder. Here, okay? That makes sense? I picked it up without having to muscle his leg. Okay.
Do you have to follow that shoulder, or can you just
follow the shoulder? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The whole point is, in a perfect world, if I could get him to put his hands on the floor, it's even better. Okay? Here, I grab, I'm gonna fall to my shoulder. Here, when he comes up, he's done. Okay? So I'm just gonna wait on him to come up. Okay? Obviously, we could do a push out and single leg too if he stays on his hands. Right? You can just manufacture that, whether I do it from single leg X or switch to X guard. Right? We've done that a bunch of times, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get my hook, I come in tight, I'm looking for the pant grip if I can get it. Worst case is I just grab his ankle. The goal is to not let him backstep once I get to that, right? If I get here, I don't want to go to this grip because he's going to pull my hand up for it, right? Come here, pull my hand. Doesn't come off, okay? Doesn't necessarily feel good for me, but it doesn't come off the same way that this does.
Yeah.
Just comes right off, okay? So once I get here, I fall on my side. Here, he comes up, flip him over, okay? Turn this way. Good. Hook, come in, grab the pants, I fall on my shoulder. As soon as he comes up, knock him over. I have this grip. I'm gonna punch it up to the ceiling. If you're able, I'll control the pants down here too. Foot comes off, and go right into a pass. Okay? That's one. Why am I pushing this pant leg up? So you can't hip escape or do anything, right? So I landed on the mat here. I can also just come up on my hand. Here, control. That make sense? Don't just do that sweep and come up and just sit inside his guard. Does that make sense? So often, especially earlier on in your development, you hit this great sweep and you come up there and you just accept that, okay, it's time for us to change positions. And then you just let them get what they want, right? My guard passing becomes so much easier if I don't let him do what he wants with his legs, right? If he cannot put it on the floor, if he to hip escape or whatever he needs to do, if I don't allow him to stick it and make a connection to my body, right? If I keep that control, can't do anything with it. He's certainly not going to come up, right? So if I came up and he tried to come up, he can't, because his foot's not on the floor. Does that make sense? All right, one more. I can let him stand all the way up. If my goal is sweep, I like to get him on the way up. He doesn't have time to grab and defend and do all that other stuff. Don't let him just, does that make sense? So if I get him here and I grab, I go to here, don't let him come all the way up, right? Now, pinch your knee into my hip, right? Grab my collars, both collars. Turn this way. Good. Sit your butt down, head up. Oh, no. So pinch, right? So now I try to sweep you. I'm not moving him, okay? If he gets that head off the mat, I don't want to let this setup happen, okay? So get him off balance. once he tries to come up, he's not gonna stay on his hands because then we're gonna push him out, right? We'll do that if we have to. Here, grab the pants, sit on the side. As soon as he comes up, boom, over. Hold that up.
You're trapping that with your left arm?
Huh?
You're trapping his ankle?
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna go for the foot lock. I'm just holding it, right? Here, come up, technical stand up.
Is it wrong to go for the footlock or just?
No, I'd rather you guys get good at passing guard
That's fine,
first.
that's fine. That's-
Only because it's if you get good at it, it's a crutch, because you don't develop everything else. Certainly, I want to get to the point where you guys are good at that, but early on, like, you gotta be able to pass their guard first, right? Then I can utilize that leg lock attack to make the guard pass easier too. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Let's work on the pass right now. So, same setup. Their legs are going to come forward. We're going to go underhand grip to the to the pants, or grab the ankle, fall on our shoulder, set up single leg X. Our goal is to make him put his hands on the floor. That's ideal. Okay. The way we force that is going to our shoulder, not going to our back to set this position up. All right. Try it. 1, 2, 3.